After my video analysis on Baizhu's potential performance, several people asked me clarifications on his optimal builds, since I didn't really go in detail for those yet. It's important to make a premise for this video. Since he is not a damage dealing character, the variance between different Baizhu builds can't be evaluated through team damage difference alone, as his healing capabilities can also vary between different set and weapon choices. It's up to you to give a value to this type of utility, since at the end of the day, it's entirely subjective and based on what you feel you need more as a player. Without further ado, let's get into the analysis. First of all, his talent's priority. Baizhu has two sources of healing, his skill and his burst. The skill heals on a team-wide scale, by around 8,900 per character if Baizhu has 50,000 HP, and it can go up to 10,000 if he has the Clam artifact set. The burst only heals the active character 6 times per rotation, by around 5,800 per tick, 6,600 if he has the Clam artifact set. The burst also provides a shield, but frankly speaking, it's weak enough that it will only tank a single hit from a base opponents, whether it's leveled up or not. The damage is also an irrelevant factor in the evaluation, since on an HP build, the damage that his abilities will produce will be below 30,000 even at max talent. Assuming Baizhu has the Clam set, in terms of healing produced for the team, technically his abilities are equivalent, assuming you only use his skill once per rotation. The skill will heal each character by 10,000, which results in 40,000 effective healing. Meanwhile, the burst will heal the active character by 6,600 6 times, which results in a 39,600 effective healing. In realistic scenarios, however, I would say that the burst has more value. In fact, even on quick swap teams where more than one character has relevant field time, there are always one or two characters that are just there for their abilities activations. These characters won't typically need heal in all situations, meaning that the value of the team heal is reduced. Meanwhile, Baizhu's burst directs all the healing at the active character, so a design that fits an on-field carry that takes the field for the majority of the rotation. Think of characters like Cyno and Alhaitham. In general, I would say Baizhu's elemental burst has slightly higher priority, but you should also level up his elemental skill at a similar rate, as there are factors such as the Clam artifact set 4 pieces effects, or the possibility it could be smooth to use it twice per rotation on some teams, that could make it value equal to the elemental burst all things considered. Lastly, you should probably never touch his normal attack talents, even if you plan to use him as an on-field driver, since even in this case, his raw damage is an insignificant part of the team damage. In terms of weapon choices, in the past videos I've already been critical of his signature weapon, so let me explain what I meant here as well. His signature is naturally a weapon designed around his kit, as it provides him a big HP buff and a very high energy refund, which goes hand in hand with him needing 50,000 HP to maximize the effects of his supportive passive, and him having a 80 energy cost elemental burst that demands some energy recharge investment. The weapon also provides a small elemental damage bonus, which if you listened to what I said about Baizhu's damage earlier, you can easily deem as irrelevant in the bigger picture. The issue with the weapon is that Prototype Amber at max refinement, so a completely free-to-play weapon, can provide a weaker version of the utility effects of its signature, but not so much weaker that it realistically matters. In fact, it provides slightly less HP percent, and significantly less energy refund, but comes with a team-wide healing effect that makes up for it. The HP Prototype Amber provides is more than enough for Baizhu to reach around 50,000 HP and maximize his passive effects, so the advantages his signature weapon provides are only meaningful in the context of how good he can be as a healer. In this sense, the energy refund advantage from the weapon allows him to replace an energy recharge stance with an HP percent one, something he can't do on most teams with Prototype Amber. This means more healing, but, as I said earlier, Prototype Amber provides a quite strong team healing effect, which makes up for it. This means that, practically, Prototype Amber and his signature have the exact same value at Constellation 0. Things only change with his Constellation 6, which provide HP scaling damage to his elemental burst, and make extra HP investment more meaningful as a result. But I would imagine this won't concern the vast majority of you. Thrilling Tales is also a pretty good option, but its value varies. On a Cyno Quick Bloom team, since a big chunk of Cyno's damage comes from reactions, the positive impact attack has on him is smaller than normal, and overall the Thrilling buff ends up being just a 5% increase for him over a whole rotation. It's bigger on a character like Alhaitham, since in his case it's a 8% increase over a whole rotation. On characters that have bigger attack-related scalings, like Yae or Keqing, the damage increase is even bigger, as it surpasses 10%. However, replacing Prototype Amber with Thrilling Tales means less HP and less energy. While the HP loss is not significant, losing the 18 energy refund can make things trickier for him in scenarios where he's the only Dendro unit on the team, as he will need higher energy recharge investment in those cases. Luckily, scenarios such as these take place on teams that are quickswap by default, so scenarios where he's probably allowed to use his elemental skill twice per rotation, which alleviates his requirements by a lot. I will analyze his team builds in detail in another video, but the takeaway here is that Thrilling Tales should be a viable and great option. Alternatively, Favonius and Sacrificial are always options if you need more from him in terms of energy generation for the whole team, which might be the case on teams like Cyno Quick Bloom, or if you want to straight up replace Nahida with him on Alhaitham teams. In terms of artifacts, I previously suggested any combination of the 2-piece Tenacity of Millilith set and other 2 pieces as a general rule. While this is not bad, as it makes it easier for him to reach 50,000 HP, there are other options to consider. Primarily, the Clam artifact set is actually a competitive option for him. While he won't be able to maximize its damage effect at every proc through his heals, realistically, it should produce enough damage through hit that it should surpass every other option. In fact, assuming he holds weapons such as his signature or Prototype Amber, his damage output with Clam can reach around 120,000 per rotation, and even without those, it's still close to 100,000. This means that anywhere from 80,000 to 100,000 gets added to his overall damage contribution through Clam, which is more than what the 20% from Tenacity can do. Even in this scenario, that's what you need to max out his passive effects. The other option would be the Instructor set, which provides 120 EM to the whole party when the character who holds it procs a reaction on field, for 8 seconds. Even assuming that Baizhu can consistently proc a reaction on field every rotation, 8 seconds of uptime is not a lot for characters such as Alhaitham or Cyno, whose windows can be longer. There is some potential for Alhaitham split rotations, in which case Baizhu should be able to refresh the Instructor set effects before every Alhaitham window and maximize its uptime as a result. Still, this is mostly relevant for triple Dendro Quick and Alhaitham setups with Nahida, so scenarios where Alhaitham already gets a lot of EM, which reduces the impact of extra EM. Overall, considering that the increase is on a team-wide scale, it could be worth using. But consider that using Instructor comes with the expense of HP on Baizhu, which lowers the impact of his passive and his healing, so realistically I would say the Clam artifact set should take the crown in basically every scenario. Lastly, as a Deepwood user, Baizhu could be good in single target scenarios, but AoE scenarios would penalize him, as his range is not very good, making him fall short if compared to characters like Nahida. Regardless, Deepwood is still the main option if you want to use him as a Burgeon or a Hyperbloom driver. I'm done for today. As always, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe. See you next time!